bitter criticism. Friday. I'm not sure if I'm in love, but I'm going to read Cgtn again. Cgtn all day. And we are here with Milu. Milu is not happy because problems with small bags. But here we go again. Let's read. Cgtn politics. One family. Xi Jinping stress keeping future on cross-strait ties in Chinese hands. What? Oh, Xi Jinping don't like me. I cannot live in China. I wonder if I can live in China. Oh, look, the dogs over there. Nah. There's a picture. Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, CPC, Central Committee meets with a delegation of the Chinese Kuomintang. During landmark talks to develop relations between the two parties and across the Taiwan Strait, Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, CPC, Central Committee met with Chen Li-won, chairwoman of the Chinese Kuomintang KMT party in Beijing on Friday morning. Quote-unquote shared homeland, one family, and quote-unquote peace were among the high-frequency words emphasized by the leaders of the two parties throughout the talks, underscoring that people I lost myself. Underscoring that people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait are Chinese and belong to one family. I got it. So I would never be part of the family, I guess. Not Taiwanese, not Chinese. And share a common aspiration for peace and tranquility, improve cross-strait relations and better lives. Quote, this is a responsibility that the CPC and the KMT cannot shrink, and also a driving force for the two parties to work together, end quote, she said. Invited by the CPC Central Committee, and Sheng is the first KMT chairperson to have led a delegation to the Chinese mainland in the past decade. The delegation visited Jiangsu province and Shanghai before coming to Beijing. Quote, subtitle. Creating bright future for cross-strait ties. During the meeting, Xi put forward 4 proposals on advancing cross-strait relations. He called for forging closer bonds across the strait by upholding a correct understanding of identity, safeguarding the shared homeland through peace development, fostering well-being of the people through exchanges and integration, and joint efforts to achieve national rejuvenation. I wonder if there's room for me. The core issue for safeguarding the shared homeland lies in recognizing that both sides of the strait belong to one China, she underscored. Over the past year, compatriots on both sides of the strait have resolutely opposed quote-unquote Taiwan independence. Separatism and external interference continue to pool greater strength to promote the peaceful development of cross-strait relations and advance the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. The Chinese mainland has introduced a series of measures aimed at safeguarding the common interests of people on both sides of the strait, including the launch of an online platform for the public to report vile acts by those advocating quote-unquote Taiwan independence and their accomplices in persecution Taiwan compatriots denouncing the United States of America. I just saying. Meanwhile, voices within Taiwan have increasingly expressed opposition to separatism and external interference, with residents taking to the streets to advocate for peaceful development and stability. Equally important is the continued deepening of exchanges and cooperation. For example, the 2025 annual summit has gathered around 800 people from the Chinese mainland and Taiwan to discuss cross-strait industrial transformation, innovation, and cooperation, providing a platform for industrial cooperation across strait industrial transformation, innovation, and cooperation, providing a platform for industrial cooperation across the strait, facilitating in-depth exchanges and yielding substantial results. Thanks to a series of supportive policies, including waiving fees for first-time Taiwan residents applying for mainland travel permits and expanding permit issuing ports for Taiwan residents to 100, cross-strait visits in 2025 exceeded 5 million, reaching a 6-year high. Stressing that people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait are Chinese and belong to one family, Chen called for efforts to promote the peaceful development of cross-strait ties, foster a brighter future for ties across the strait, and advance the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Then there's some girls playing badminton. I love it. A badminton friendship tournament between youths from Fujian and Taiwan is held in Fuzhou. They're pretty happy. Oh, and sorry, Taiwan is also China. Fuzhou, Southeast China's Fujian province, upholding 1992 consensus. During the talks, both sides reaffirmed the importance of upholding the common political foundation of adhering to the 1992 consensus and opposing quote-unquote Taiwan independence. The consensus, as articulated during the talks, rests on the principle that both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to one and the same China and should work together toward national reunification. Milu is working for Chinese people too. Its importance lies in defining the fundamental nature of cross-strait relations, namely that they are not state-to-state relations, nor do they constitute quote-unquote two Chinas or one China, one Taiwan. Instead, the framework provides a political foundation for dialogue and cooperation, while preserving the possibility of peaceful development. Xu Xiangquan, a researcher from the Institute of Taiwan Studies, And the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences noted that Cheng's visit reflects the prevailing desire among Taiwan compatriots for expanded exchanges and cooperation. She argued that the trajectory toward peaceful development and eventual reunification aligns with broader historical trends and public sentiment, suggesting that dialogue grounded in shared principles remain the most viable path forward. Quote, "We welcome any proposals conducive to the peaceful development of cross-trade relations and will spare no effort to advance any endeavors that promote such development," end quote, she said, adding that, quote unquote, "Taiwan independence is the chief culprit undermining peace across the Taiwan Strait. Quote unquote, we should neither condone nor tolerate it." That was just the first news. The second says, China accelerates opening up Inner Mongolia pilot free trade. And there's a Takaishi's Taiwan remarks root cause of woes in China-Japan ties. 4. U.S. and Iran prepare for talks. Starmer fed up with Trump. I'm going to read that and that's it. Not a small text. This is a 4-minute size. Middle East. U.S. and Iran prepare for talks. Starmer, quote unquote, fed up with Trump. I guess the whole world is fed up. Are you fed up with Trump, Milu? No, he's fed up with me. I'm sorry, baby. And there's a photograph. Qatar's Minister of State Mohammed Al-Khulaifi. Bids farewell to Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer at the airport of Doha, Qatar. Negotiators from Iran and the US prepare for high-level talks with their ceasefire still shaky Friday. As Israel and Hezbollah traded fire and Tehran maintained its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz. China has called for all parties concerned to resolve disputes in the Middle East through political and diplomatic channels, said Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning at a press briefing in Beijing on Friday. Quote, the ceasefire arrangements should be conducive to putting an end to the war in the region and restoring peace and stability. We call on relevant parties to resolve disputes through political and diplomatic channels, remaining calm and restrained, and working to de-escalate the situation, end quote, said Mao. Starmer in Qatar says he is, quote unquote, fed up with Trump and Putin. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer told a UK interviewer he was fed up with Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin causing people's energy bills to skyrocket, end quote. His remarks on ITV came after a phone call with US President Donald Trump where the pair discussed the Strait of Hormuz. Starmer has been in the Gulf since Wednesday. The UK Prime Minister has repeatedly used the war in the Middle East to advocate for greater energy independence, saying it boosts the case for renewable energy, such as solar power and wind turbines. Subtitle: Israel and Lebanon will have direct negotiations. Iran's semi-official Tasmin news agency, close to the Revolutionary Guard, claimed that talks set for Saturday wouldn't happen unless Israel its attacks in Lebanon. Israel has insisted that the ceasefire in Iran does not include a pause in its fighting with Hezbollah. The day the truce was announced, Israel pounded Beirut with airstrikes, killing more than 300 people, according to Lebanon's health ministry. It was the deadliest day in the country since the war began February 28. Trump said Thursday that he has asked Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to dial back the strikes. Early Friday, Israel's military said it hit approximately 10 launchers in Lebanon that had fired rockets toward northern Israel a day earlier. Netanyahu, meanwhile, said that he authorized the negotiations with Lebanon, quote unquote, as soon as possible, aimed at disarming Hezbollah militants and establishing relations between the neighbors, which have technically been at war since Israel was established in 1948. Oh, I didn't know that. It's just like the Korean War. The Lebanese government had not responded as of Friday morning. Yeah, and there are some people in Lebanon, in the south of Lebanon, they choose to be Israelis, and internet say they are happier now. Anyway, Lebanese civil defense worker right stands with a resident at the site of a building destroyed in an Israeli airstrike a day earlier in central Beirut. Quote, subtitle, Strait of Hormuz crisis. Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz has sent oil prices skyrocketing and driven stocks down. Tehran's control over the waterway has proved its biggest strategic advance in the war. The spot price of Brent crude, the international standard, was around $97 Friday, up more than 30% since the war started. Before the conflict, over 100 ships passed through the strait each day, many carrying oil to Asia. With the ceasefire in place, only 12 have been recorded passing through. Underscoring the precarious situation, Botswana fledged liquefied natural gas tanker attempt to travel out of the Persian Gulf via a route ordered by the Revolutionary Guard, but suddenly turned around early Friday, ship tracking data showed. The head of the United Arab Emirates, a major oil company, Sultan Al Jaber, said some 230 ships loaded with oil were waiting to get through the strait and must be allowed, quote unquote, to navigate this corridor without condition. Milu also want to cross the strait. I guess there will be some match today, some soccer match in the Santiago Wander Stadium, something like, maybe not. The head of the United Arab Emirates, major oil company, President Trump complained about that situation, writing on his social media platform, quote unquote, Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some will say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz, end quote. Quote, that is not the agreement we have. Trump wrote on the trickle of ships Iran has allowed to pass. Maybe some show. Or maybe it was a sport competition. It was not a... Well, there was cops over there. The police was saving the place. Police was guarding the place. There's a picture. A cargo ship carrying vehicles sails through the Arabic Gulf toward the Strait of Hormuz in the United Arab Emirates. And subtitle. Oh, there's a match. I guess. I don't know. Ceasefire deal still fragile. Questions also remain over the fate of Iran's missile and nuclear programs, which the US and Israel sought to eliminate in going to war. The US insists Iran must never be able to build nuclear weapons and wants to remove Tehran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium, which could be used to make them. Iran insists its program is peaceful. The chief of Iran's nuclear agency, Mohammad Eslami, said Thursday that protecting Tehran's right to enrich uranium is quote-unquote necessary for any ceasefire talks. Source AFP, and does it. I'm very, very curious about what's going on in the stadium. I'm going to check it out. Here we go. The presidential delegate. Somebody is visiting. Oh no! Maybe it was going to. Yeah, there will be a match between, I guess, San Luis and Santiago Wanderers. Does it?